Welcome back to the UAE Tour. We are now in the Emirate of Fujairah, all the way in the east of the country, bordering Oman. It's time for the sprinters today, or is it? Remco Evenepoel there. We have Isaac Del Toro in green and the man who won the stage yesterday, Antonio Tiberi. The stage today, 182 kilometers from Fujairah to Fujairah through the Hajar Mountains, which are an absolute dream location if you study geology, because this is one of the very few places in the world where you can study the oceanic crust, at the surface that is. But we don't have time for that. We have a pretty tough stage with almost 2,000 meters of elevation, with a punchy climb at the start, punchy climbs in the middle, and a fast finale in the town of Fujairah. 145 riders take the start, with Tiberi in red, Del Toro in green, Lennart van Eetveld in white, and Sylvain Dillier in that black intermediate sprint jersey. He was one of the first attackers, but this is the breakaway of the day, with Georg Steinhauser, Stefan de Bot, Lorenzo Milesi, Patrick Gamper and James Knox. 24-year-old from Germany, Georg Steinhauser, 24th on GC, just over 3.5 minutes down on Antonio Tiberi. This was the first intermediate sprint of the day. Not really a sprint because Patrick Gamper just cruised through and picked up the 8 points and the 3 bonus seconds. Antonio Tiberi was well protected by his Bahrain victorious team all day, and it was Emmanuel Gebre-Sabir for Lidl Trek and Peter Oxenberg Hansen for the Ineos Grenadiers doing the work at the front for their sprinters, for Jonathan Milan and for Sam Welsford. It was a very strong breakaway. They were granted a maximum lead of 2.5 minutes, but they fought for each and every second of that. And the second intermediate sprint, another 8 points there for Patrick Gamper, bringing his total up to 16. But Sylvain Dillier, the Swiss rider who was in the breakaway on day 1 and day 3, still leads that intermediate sprint competition with 24 points. But we still have 48 points available for that competition. So who knows? We'll see Dillier on the attack on Friday. 35 kilometers to go. The gap still over 2 minutes, and it was still going up by this point, and that means you need more firepower at the front. UnoX Mobility for Ellen Blikra. Refreshments for Jonathan Milan. He couldn't sprint on the opening day because he was involved in a crash. So today, with all the work that his team is doing here with Derek G. West, Edward Toons, he wants to reward the work done. We have Bennett there for NSN at the front working for Ethan Vernon, and then gradually the gap does come down. But the riders up front now, without James Knox, really put up a fight. Sadly, we also had some crashes today. Fabio Jacobsen, Dan Hole and Ethan Hayter, they all managed to complete the stage. Sadly, Robert Gijs had to abandon. Fantastic teamwork by the 4 riders at the front. Georg Steinhauser for EF Education Easy Post, Stefan de Bot for the Modern Adventure Pro Cycling Team, Lorenzo Milesi for Movistar, and Patrick Gamper for Jaco Alula. We're now inside the final 3.5 kilometers. They still have 12 seconds and they fight for every centimetre. They are still ahead of the peloton. You have to believe in it all the way to the finish line, and that is exactly what this group does. Stefan de Bot glances over his shoulder, sees the peloton come and launches his sprint there with Steinhauser, Milesi and Gamper. A good effort there by the South African, 29 years old, back at pro level. But the peloton is coming. We see Malucelli, we see Milan, we see Welsford, we see Ethan Vernon coming, we see Gerben Thijssen, we see Matteo Milan, and then they get swamped up at 250 meters to go, and with his distinctive style, Jonathan Milan gets it right, rewards all the work done by the team and wins the stage ahead of Ethan Vernon and his brother Matteo Milan for a first World Tour podium for the younger brother of this man, of Jonathan Milan. But the breakaway indeed put up a really big fight. They're only caught at 250 meters from the line. But a true team effort there by Lidl Trek. All riders involved in today's win, with Jonathan Milan, Simone Consonni, Derek G. West, Emmanuel Gebre-Sabir, Patrick Conrad, Edward Teuns and Max Walscheid. It was a team effort today for Lidl Trek. Third win in the UAE Tour for Jonathan Milan, Vernon, Matteo Milan, Gerbert Thijssen, Froidevaux, Malucelli, Schuiteneer, Pickrell, Welsford and Emmanuel Uku completes the top 10. A trophy for Jonathan Milan, who bounced back from that crash on the opening stage. Still has some bandages, but the speed was there, the raw power was there. No changes whatsoever in the general classification. Antonio Tiberi still has that 21-second margin on Isaac Del Toro. So this young man, born in Frosinone in Italy, has got another day in a red jersey on Friday. Most important day comes on Saturday with Jebel Habib, but this is a Friday stage. We go back to Dubai, down to the west and the south for 166 kilometers of an almost flat race, just about 500 meters of elevation. 2 intermediate sprints again, and then the finish at the Hamdan bin Mohammed Smart University. But probably the same riders we saw at the front on stage 4. Tiberi leads the GC, Jonathan Milan is the winner of the day, and tomorrow we continue in the UAE Tour.